duty of the free man to resist tyranny at every turn. Every man will either watch his freedom stripped away or take action to protect what he loves. Introducing the A3, the newest revolutionary body armor from Armored Republic. The A3 is the new standard for lightweight multi-hit body armor. A3 plates are incredibly light at 4.6 pounds. The patented design captures fragmentation while remaining multi-hit capable. The A3 will stop up to M80 ball, yet comes in at only 0.7 inches thick. The A3 is the thinnest NIJ.06 compliant or certified composite standalone plate that includes the drop test. The A3 is the first of its kind, patent pending, that combines an alloy strike face with polyethylene backing, revolutionizing body armor technology by providing strength and durability while remaining sleek and maneuverable. The A3 is the new standard in lightweight body armor. The fight against tyranny just got stronger.
Hey y'all, welcome to CrossPolitic on the Fight Laugh Feast Network. Pastor Toby Chuck Knox, I'm the Water Boy. It's good to be with you. You know, conservatives, I think actually, I'm convinced that conservatives should be for a woman president. Because we'd save 33%.
What?
We would save 33% on the salary. You know, if you're conservative and you're for lowering budgets and...
Oh, thanks, Gabe. That's probably really helpful. That won't get us canceled off of anything.
We just got canceled on Vimeo, y'all.
Oh my goodness.
So none of our club members actually can get access to the content right now. So
we're fixing it, you guys.
Vimeo kicked us off their platform. No warning. We probably think it's from the Greg and Catherine show.
I think it's from the 2000 Mil show we just did. The backstage on that was...
So no free speech on Vimeo, huh?
No. But what's crazy about our relationship with Vimeo is that it's all like hidden content. It goes out to our club portal. It's not
even public.
It's not public content.
It's hidden from everybody.
You can't even have a private conversation about things they do not approve of.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, speaking of canceling, I have to ask you a question. Because I looked at your Twitter this weekend. You wouldn't talk to Andrew Tate?
I wouldn't?
Yeah. You wouldn't want to have him on CrossPolitic?
You had Buffalo Head Man on CrossPolitic?
And you don't want to talk to Tate?
We did.
I saw you saying something like, somebody said, hey, why are people letting this guy on their platforms and platforming this guy? Shame on them. And I was like, what? Gabe. Surely he wouldn't be that guy.
I think I'd want to do it in person if I did. I think I'd want certain requirements around it or certain
parameters.
I would want to produce it well if I had him because
the rest of the show's not so well, but that one, well.
Well, no. Because I think he's so, right now, men are so attracted to his ideology or at least his stance or whatever. I think he's very deceptive and misleading. And I think I just want to be more present in that.
I don't know. I think the simple thing is you just need to ask all the questions.
Yeah.
You should ask all the questions. I think that was the weakness in Tucker is he just asked a question or two and then let him go.
Yeah.
This year, our Fight Laugh Feast conference is at the Ark Encounter in Kentucky on the politics of six-day creation. The politics of six-day creation is the difference between a fixed standard of justice and a careening standard of justice. The difference between the corrosive relativism that creates mobs and anarchy and the castration of children and the freedom of objectivity, truth, and due process. The politics of six-day creation establishes the authority and sufficiency of God's word for all of life. From what is a man, what is a woman, when does human life begin, how is human society best organized? All of that comes from Genesis 1 and 2. So come here, Ken Ham, Pastor Doug Wilson, Dr. Ben Merkel, Dr. Gordon Wilson, Joe Rigney, Michael Foster.
Yes.
And I'll be giving a talk. And of course, there'll be a live CrossPolitic show. We have
Stephen Wolf,
yeah.
Joel Webbin,
Pastor
Pastor Wilson on Christian nationalism.
You confirm Pastor Wilson is going to be there?
Yeah. I need to.
Okay, you go do that right now.
He is. We got his. I know when his flights are in and out. So he's going to be there Saturday afternoon.
You better ask him.
You better see Pastor right.
I know.
Come on, mark your calendars. October 11th through the 14th. Mark your calendars. October 11th through the 14th as we fight, laugh, and feast with beer and psalms. Our amazing lineup of speakers, our rowdy Christian merch, and a Sabbath feast to wrap up the occasion. Visit fightlaughfeast.com today for more information and to register. We're very grateful to have with us right now Mr. Tim Foley. He's the founder and field operations director of Arizona Border Recon, which was founded in 2010, has been on the border for 13 years. Tim, thanks for joining us on CrossPolitic.
Thanks for having me on.
Hey, so what is the Arizona Border Recon and what do you do for it?
Arizona Border Recon, we are actually a licensed intelligence gathering company in the state of Arizona. What we do is we monitor a certain area of the Arizona border for human and drug smuggling and cartel activity. And then we turn that information over to various agencies, and we do a lot of media. I mean, I've done media from around the world, except for, 99.9% of our media comes from outside the country. American media pretends they already know what's going on, or they have their own narrative, so they don't want to see what we see.
So just before we started, you almost started telling us, what is it that our media will not cover? What is it that Americans do not realize is the reality
of the border
on the border?
Yeah. Well, what the mainstream media shows you is the women and children coming across in nice clothes with, iPhones and stuff like that. But where we're at, there's an 80-mile section of the border, of the southern border, where 50 to 60% of all the drugs and bad guys come through. And we're sitting smack dab in the middle of that 80-mile stretch. These are people who don't want to get caught for various reasons. They've been deported multiple times for crimes in this country, crimes in their country. They're gangbangers, they're cartel members. And so they come through with camouflage clothing, camouflage backpacks, and they're trying to avoid detection. And with the way things are right now and Border Patrol being so overwhelmed that it's a sieve right here. I mean, it's just pouring through. It's a reverse funnel.
Wow.
Let's see. I'll give you some numbers, just recent numbers. In June, just in our area, Border Patrol apprehended 24,360.
And your 80-mile stretch?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because we also have, just to the west of us, there's a valley that is flatland. And so what the cartel does with the human smuggling is they use it as a distraction. So they'll push family units through or people paying to get across. And while Border Patrol has to move in to pick these people up just over where we are, then you get all the dope and the bad guys coming through.
Wow.
So I'm sorry, go ahead. I want you to finish, Tim.
Well, year to date in this area, 234,000. So we're seeing in the past couple of weeks that since Texas has put in the buoy barrier in the river, and they're being sued for that by the government.
Right. Obama administration is suing Governor Abbott.
Obama's not president anymore.
Biden's not either. So
Dang.
This is Obama's third term.
He's in on it.
He agrees.
So what happens now is they're making it harder to get into Texas. And so now the push is coming over to Arizona, and we have a newly elected liberal governor in this state, and she's not doing anything. So we're averaging 10,000 people a week.
Wow.
Coming across.
So, and I hear you right that, what's the percentage like of those 200,000 people that have been apprehended since the beginning of the year? What's the percentage of those people that you're saying these are bad guys, this is cartel, this is human traffickers, and versus, people
desperate situations,
fleeing persecution or just desperate for a new life?
The bad guys in that amount there is probably 2%.
Okay.
The vast majority of that is large groups of people that have been abandoned by their coyote out in the middle of nowhere. They don't know where they're at, and they have cell phones, so they call 911, and Border Patrol will go pick them up. They did last month 460 rescues with BORSTAR. BORSTAR is Border Patrol Search, Rescue, and Trauma. And they fly around in a Black Hawk helicopter. So it costs a lot of money to keep a helicopter in the air and a lot for medical. I mean, so you got 430 airlifts in 1 month just with the illegals. We're footing the bill for that.
Right.
There's a couple questions I have. I guess one of them would be, out of the 13 years that you've been doing this, what are the advancements or success that you've seen in this field? Has there been anybody who's like, you know what, let's close this up, and then they don't get reelected again? Or what are you seeing that's been like good and bad that's happened in the 13 years you've been doing this?
The only good I've seen, and the numbers went down dramatically, and we had to do a lot of, I got about 6 of my guys and myself that are certified man trackers. And so when Trump was in office, they cut the numbers down drastically. But I've been here through Obama, through Trump, now through Biden. And you can tell the difference between a liberal or a conservative. And the numbers way down. I mean, Trump, the interesting thing about the wall is back in Obama's days, I think it was 2006, Congress approved building the wall. They just never allocated the funds to do it because that way they could show, see, we're trying to do something about the illegal immigrations. We voted to build the wall, but there's no money there. So Trump already had permission. He was just trying to get the money, and they kept stopping him. We have 19 miles from our nearest port of entry going east of 30-foot high fence. But in that 19 miles, there's probably 20 to 24 holes in the fence, anywhere from 3 feet wide to 100 yards wide. And then the fence ends, and there's a 15-mile gap before it picks up again in Nogales. So it's sad, you know. I mean, that he tried to do something, but they wouldn't let him.
Tim,
you know?
why do you think what you're doing is important? I mean, like, why is illegal immigration becoming such a problem for our country, and why do you think what you're doing is important?
Well, it's, you know, I've been called everything in the book by mainstream media: racist, a Nazi, a baby killer, vigilante, which is my favorite.
Yeah.
Hey, Batman.
If you break it down, we're doing a vigil, and then we're anteing up to do our part. So we're not wearing white sheets over our heads and hanging people from trees or anything. But I try to get the word out, and I try to tell people what is happening, because this is not about race. This is about sustainability. We cannot sustain what is going on, and what is going on is it's part of a plan, and the plan is to collapse the country.
Can you connect those dots? How is 200,000 people coming in the country? How is that collapsing the country?
Well, that's 200,000 in 6 months.
Yeah.
Since Biden's been in, we're looking at already 7 million.
Oh.
And then on top of the past administrations, you know, Reagan was the first one who did 3 million, gave them amnesty, and the government backdoors everything, you know, because once they're in here, they're doing chain migration. Whereas once you get in and you get a green card, then you can sponsor your family and bring them all over. So in the past 20 years, I would say you're looking at closer to 60 million. And that's what they know of, not what they don't know, because we're averaging right now on the southern border 75 to 90,000 gotaways a month. The gotaway is somebody, well, basically like where we are, that comes through in camouflage. They see them either with cameras or sensors, or they have visual on them, and then they never got them. So we're looking at just in gotaways, you're looking at 1 million plus a year.
So connect for me. How is it that having more people collapses a society?
Well, who's paying for it all? I mean, your taxes are going to go up. All your tax money is, and look at the deficit right now. I mean, this is how they're attempting to do this in multiple ways. I mean, it's the woke agenda. You know, it's part of the. I don't know if you ever heard of the Cloward-Piven strategy.
Mm-mm.
The Cloward-Piven strategy. Cloward and Piven were a husband and wife team back in the 60s when they were protesting the Vietnam War. Saul Alinsky, that's where Feinstein, Boxer, Pelosi, Obama, and all of them got their start. And the Cloward-Piven strategy, basically breaking it down, says if you bring enough impoverished people into a nation that has wealth, that after a certain amount of people come in, that wealth will collapse because it cannot sustain it economically. And so then it turns into a socialist government.
So then how does that work with, when you said, we were asking, I think Pastor Toby asked, how many of the percentage that's coming over are bad guys? And you said 2%, if I remember correctly. So then if you got a large majority of those people who are coming over and then beginning to work in the economy and get jobs and help out, how does that collapse when you have more economic growth with that society?
Well, you're going to have to build more schools. You're going to have to build more hospitals. You're going to have to build more jails. You're going to have to, more of them, they're uneducated, the vast majority, because the school systems down there are pretty much non-existent.
Right.
And so then you have people who are, uneducated. And so what job can they do? I mean, you got lawnmowers, leaf blowers, and motel maids and service industry, whereas the United States is already, due to greed within the multinational corporations, ship vast majority of their products to be manufactured overseas. We don't make anything anymore. We are a consuming society. We don't produce anything except for military hardware. Is pretty much all we produce now. And so when you were a kid, I was a kid, everybody was a kid, you would start out as going to McDonald's and get a job there until you got the hang of working, and then you move on to another job and went up the ladder, up and a ladder. Now McDonald's and places like that are careers because we gave everything away. We allowed it to be given away. But we cannot sustain it, like I said, because right now we're paying, just in unpaid medical bills by illegals, $115 billion a year.
Is that just Arizona? Is that just Arizona? Or
that's nationwide.
Nationwide, okay.
There's a hospital in Yuma that's about ready to close its doors because they have over $26 million in unpaid medical bills by illegals. And our government loves to bail out banks, but they will not bail out hospitals. So it's you have to look and see. I mean, I've been here 13 years. I've been watching what's going on. I've been watching how the government's reacting. And if you look, this is not just happening here in this country.
Yeah.
This is the largest mass migration in the history of mankind. And it's happening in basically white European Christian nations. And if you look at it even closer, it's only NATO nations. So it's interesting. I mean, Europe is being inundated with Muslims, yet the Muslims are going to the Christian nations, but why don't they go to the Muslim nations that already have Sharia law, halal food, and everything else? Because over there, it's a birthing jihad. Over here, it's going to be the same thing, because the average American family is 2 kids. Hispanics and everybody else is anywhere from 5 to 7. So you're going to be, they're going to breed you out.
Tim, how do you, I mean, no one grows up thinking, you know what, I'm going to do what Tim's doing. I'm going to, go do border patrol and intelligence. How did you come to the conclusion and convictions that you're at, and how did you get involved with your organization?
It started back in 2008. I was doing construction. I was making $85,000 a year doing high rises. I was running 150 men, and I had to have an interpreter because 75% couldn't speak English. And then every Monday morning, I get together with my foreman and ask him, how many are missing? I'm missing 2. I'm missing 4. What happened? E-Verify caught him. I said, all right. So I call the union hall and bring in more guys to fill the spot. 3 weeks later, the same guys would show up. And I was like, well, what happened? And they go, well, we just decided to take 3 weeks off once they caught us. And then we went out and we bought a new identity. And then we went and paid the union the $50. And it's going to take them another 3 to 6 months to find out we can't work here. And we'll do it all over again. So there was identity theft. And at that time, that's when the media was saying, don't worry. During the Obama administration, don't worry, they're only coming and doing jobs Americans won't do. And I knew it was a fallacy because I'd been in construction pretty much my whole life. So I went from $85,000 to $12,000 overnight because I went to unemployment. I cashed out everything I had. I cashed out my 2 pensions. I moved to Phoenix to go to Harley-Davidson school. So while I was working full-time, I was also going to school for Harley-Davidson mechanics. I had a shop at my house, 3 Harleys. I sold it all. I had the American dream. 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, Harley-Davidsons, good-paying job. And overnight, it collapsed. And so I decided I'm going to go see if the second narrative that the media and the government was saying was true, which was, don't worry, it's safe and secure. And when I came down here, I said, you're kidding me, right? Where we did have a fence, it was a 4-strand barbed wire fence, which will keep out a cow or a horse, and that's about it. And that's where we had fences. And so I said, somebody's got to do something. And if not me, then who? So I said, this is where I belong. And so I started Arizona Border Recon. And I've been here for 13 years.
Wow. Speaking of unpaid medical bills, how are you paying for your health care, and how's it working out? If it's working perfectly, great. If not, listen closely to what I'm about to tell you, because I have a solution for you, a biblical solution. Samaritan Ministries is a community of Christians who pay one another's medical bills. Here's how it works. When a medical need arises, you choose the provider that's right for you and have a say in the treatment you receive, even if it's a non-conventional approach. Your medical bills are then shared with fellow members who then send you gifts to cover those needs, and your need is covered in prayer. It's affordable, and you can join anytime, even today. So learn more today at SamaritanMinistries.org. That's SamaritanMinistries.org/CrossPolitic.
Hey, so Tim, I want to ask you, doing this 13 years, I'm sure you have some answers on how to fix these problems, particularly in your situation in Arizona. What would you do to solve this problem?
One thing is I would de-unionize the Border Patrol. Because the union makes all the workplace safety rules. And They used to have physical agility tests once a year, just like the military, because it's a physically demanding job. I mean, right now, sitting in my house right now, it's 97 degrees. Outside's a little warmer. And so you got to hump up and down these mountains in 110, 120 degree heat, wearing 30, 35 pounds worth of gear, tracking people. And the Border Patrol, who were the administration, got fat and happy, and they didn't want to do the physical agility test anymore, so they eliminated it. And so now you have agents that they would probably die of a stroke in 100 yards of getting out of their vehicle. So they're what is now, and they can't be fired because of union. So what they're now affectionately called is visual deterrence. So what they do is they give them the vehicle and they tell them where to go. Yeah.
Stop.
They tell them where to go park the vehicle so they're in plain sight on a hillside. So it's like, I'm over here, don't come this way, go over that way. And
wow,
that's one of the things I would do. And the other one is we used to, under Obama's, it was started before Obama, but we had what were called FOBs, forward operating bases. And so what would happen is Border Patrol out here in the mountains set up these FOBs where they're the shipping containers, and they converted them into bunkhouses, dining halls, and things like that. And then you would work 7 days straight, 7 days off. And so underneath Obama, when they were trying to balance the budget and they did the sequesters, they told every agency they needed to cut their budget. And the first thing that Border Patrol cut was their forward operating bases because they said it would save money. Whereas they had enough agents in there, the forward operating bases, to do 3 shifts of 8 hours a day. But these guys are out in the mountains for a week. They actually cost less because they only got paid 8, but they're going, well, what the hell am I going to do? Sit inside a shipping container box for another 16 hours? So they would be out in the mountains actually 12, 16 hours chasing bad guys. And it slowed it to almost a crawl. And so once the sequesters happened, the media announced that Border Patrol was closing the FOBs, and within 3 days you could find all the evidence of the illegals and the bad guys coming straight through Border Patrol's operating bases. So I would put those back up. We're relying too much on technology. It's real-time intel. It's boots on the ground that'll get it done. We have, I think it's 19,000 Border Patrol agents on the southern border, and it's a 2,000-mile border. So you've got 5,000 agents per shift, except they're just being utilized wrong. They're being mismanaged. It's become a huge bureaucracy and then when election time comes around, you've heard it for the past, I don't know how many elections. We need more agents down there. We need more. Well, you don't need more. You just need to use them right. I mean, I can close a 10-mile stretch of the border with 10 guys for 3 weeks at a time for just being there for 7 days.
Wow.
And I've had BORTAC, which is Border Patrol Tactical, come into our camps and look at me and go, dude, we would love to see what you can do with our budget, with what you can do with what you're spending.
Wow.
So, well, that'd be nice. I mean, the 3 agencies tasked with securing this country, ICE, CBP, and DHS, have a combined budget of $52 billion a year.
Wow.
You give me 1/10 of 1% of that. and I can shut down this whole border in less than 60 days to everything except for a bunny rabbit coming across.
Hey, Tim, what's your website that people can go check out what you're doing and find out more?
Our website is ArizonaBorderRecon.org. There, if you feel like you want to volunteer, I mean, not a lot of people can do what we do. I mean, it's brutal. We're out here at 0 degrees in the winter. It snows. We're out here in the summertime, 120, pouring rains in the monsoons and everything in between. If you do want to volunteer, you have to fill out basically a job application. Once we receive it, we give you a call, find out, what you think we do versus what we actually do.
Right.
And if you were satisfied with that, we'll push you onto a background check. The background check covers 50 state criminal, 50 state sexual predator, and a government watch list. If you pass that, then you have to notarize our rules of engagement and our standard operating procedures. So that way, regardless if you do all that, you could still have ulterior motives. And if you do something stupid, by notarizing those, we'll be the first people to hog tie you and turn you over to law enforcement. We've been doing this for 13 years. We know what we can do and what we can't do. And I don't want to spend the rest of my life in a 6x8 cell. Our rules of engagement, standard operating procedures, there's a link on the bottom of the homepage. We're transparent as anything. If you want to see some of what we see, you can go to our YouTube channel, Arizona Border Recon. I put some of our trail camera videos up there. I don't post all of them because our friends to the south watch our stuff also.
Sure.
Social media wise, it's on Facebook, Arizona Border Recon. And what I do on Facebook basically is every morning I'll go through all the media on the internet and I find the numbers and what's happening and how many sexual predators are being arrested every day, illegal sexual predators. North Carolina seems to be the capital right now of illegal sexual predators in the United States. And it has been for a little over 5, maybe 6 years.
North Carolina?
Yep.
Wow.
It's a sanctuary state.
Wow.
Yeah.
They just arrested a guy the other month for child rape. They released him the very next week, same charges, 1 county over.
Wow. I know we're about to the end of our segment here, Tim, but have you seen the movie Sound of Freedom?
Not yet. I'm pretty busy here.
Yeah. Okay.
Have you seen our documentary, Cartel Land?
No.
Our producer has and was telling us about it earlier in the show. So
okay.
you're familiar with it, and
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
And we got some more coming out. Should be within the next week or so. I've had some good media coming down, and they're doing a lot of good stuff.
well, appreciate you, Tim. Thanks for joining us on CrossPolitic.
Yeah.
yes, sir.
Yes, sir. And if you want to help, we have a donate that Give, Send, Go.
Okay.
All right.
It's on
If
his
you're single,
website.
get married. If you're married, have you some kids. And if you have kids, go baptize them. Until tomorrow, love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. Love your neighbor as yourself. Go fight, laugh, and feast. This is CrossPolitic.
The Word of God is living and active, sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing to the division of soul and of spirit, of joints and marrow. Through the Spirit, God's Word changes lives. It cuts us to the heart and reshapes us. As you strive to read and study Scripture, having a good set of tools can help. From setting reminders for a great reading plan, to word studies and commentaries that shed light on difficult passages, to listening on the go, the Olive Tree Bible app can help you dig into the Word wherever you are. Olive Tree Bible app. Read, study, listen, anywhere.